Thank you very much, Alex, for that wonderful introduction. Yes, map number 3, it's Train, and it feels fitting that we end this on a map that we've seen both these teams perform on and both look good on throughout the games thus far.
I mean, OpTic did lose it to North yesterday, so that's always a bit of a yikes. But other than that, I mean, we've seen them get some rounds, Harry. But yeah, we're straight into things. OpTic on the T side of this map as they set up early outside of that B bomb site. Betway odds favouring Mousesports, but I don't really blame them. Let's see what Chris J's got for us here. He is alone, and now he's dead. Nico's going to find his head. It's deep control from OpTic. They're pushing all the boundaries of this B site, and they're already in the CT spawn. This round is over as far as we know it.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way already. I mean, the time now ticking down. OpTic really can't do anything, and it looks like it could be, oh, I was going to say a flawless pistol round, but they don't get away with that. No more love for OpTic in this round, though, and OpTic. Another pistol round. Now 10 out of 11.
Can we get Alex back here to give us the maths on that? What's the percentage now? 10 out of 11. I'm not asking you to actually do it.
No, I know.
I can't do maths. I'm awful at maths. And the fabled rule of don't do maths on stream still applies. 1-0 for OpTic. And Mousesports looking for that force buy. They did pick it up both rounds on Dust 2 as well after losing both pistols. So let's see if they can keep that one going here on the CT side.
I want to say it's like a 90.9% recurring for OpTic in the pistol rounds now, but that's purely off the top of my head, so likely wrong. I'm just trying to flex my limited math knowledge.
You're flexing, but you don't even know.
No, I know.
Right.
Yeah, it's not really a flex, is it?
Harry's put the abacus away. He's just pulled out an entire abacus from under the desk, and he's shuffling.
Can I just say, I was actually right.
Okay.
90.9 recurring is...
Yeah. Okay, put the abacus away.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, well, you know, abacus is a pretty cool... Joe Miller used to use an abacus on stream.
Really?
Yeah, I remember that. I'm pretty sure that was the thing.
I believe that.
But, let's see, as you don't need an abacus to work out who's looking advantageous in this round, Hugo. That said, Mousesports are very, very good at stealing away these force buys. Not again. Not again. It can't happen once more. Nico and Snappy finally looking to try and return some normality to this round. They do lose refresh over towards A, so actually it's Snappy and Nico who have to see this round out. They've tried to salvage it. They've tried to save it. They've tried to do what they can, and Snappy holding the wrap round. He falls. Nico's gone. And Mousesports stealing another force bite. Somehow.
All too familiar at this point. What a read from Chris J as well, right? When we saw OpTic play this map yesterday versus North, they would continually run refresh outside Ivy, playing that solo lurk position with the rest of his team hitting B. Unfortunately, a lot of the rounds they hit B, they couldn't even get the entries on the bomb down, so refresh was null and void. This time, refresh was coming in through T-Con late, something he didn't do once yesterday, and Mousesports still read it, despite it being the full B execute for OpTic. So, yeah, really good gamble there from Chris, and he gets a couple of kills off of it, and Mousesports win the round. So, 1-1 and no money for OpTic. They'd rather save for the rifles in the follow-up, and that's exactly what they'll get. Fast A charge, but you're really hoping for a miracle here.
Yeah, they're hoping to get this bomb down inside of B. Snappy just trying to keep the attention of Mowers at this A bomb site. Rops able to dispatch the first two. That Molotov has divided this push and given him some time to reposition. You didn't get that repeat immediately from Nico. So they keep that round clean. Mousesports able to convert after stealing away the anti-eco of OpTic with their own force buy. And now we do get to see the buy back on the cards from OpTic. No AWP going to be in sight here. Over on the T side, OpTic still donning the scout. But he's been very, very good with that weapon. Trying to take the mantle away from Chris J.
Well, this is a chance for OpTic's early T side money to start to build up if they can win this round. Don't let Mousesports get ahead of things, but they may do exactly that. Flash into main, everyone's blind, but Nico playing anti-flash is going to bail his teammates out. They have got to be very grateful for that. Good utility from Mousesports keeps these players honest. A 3-on-3, and Carrigan's even pushed up as well. MSL's cornered, he's been spotted, and he can't get anything done. Carrigan's found 3, and Snappy, hoping to try and get that trade, was just a bit too late to the party. Peering out through PopDog. No one's on it right now. It's an open position, and the bomb is dropped in the middle of the site. So Mousesports are all on A. But Rops is dedicated to watching that flank through Connector. We've got Woxic just playing passive back towards the old bomb. Well, not old bomb, rather. Old hell. So, yeah, if you're Mousesports here, you're probably somewhat aware of where Snappy should be, considering he's not shown himself on the flank yet. As he moves forward to grab the bomb, Carrigan is going to catch the perfect timing. Rops gets shot, but this is where Carrigan should be able to get the kill, but Snappy reads it well.
He's done more than read it well. He's left himself in a doable situation. It's a 3-peek from Woxic that will solidify the round for Mouse. Definitely started to develop a bit of faith in Snappy there after plucking Carrigan from the ranks. He knew where the player in con was, but anticipated that, you know, there might have been the third man that was left over inside of the B-bomb site. Wasn't ready for Woxic to also be there battening down the hatches inside of 8, and now we do see the AWP purchased up over on the Turkish player in Mousesports. Here's just the flat eco from OpTic here. 2 deeks spread between Snappy and Nico, and we see these two look more heroic than ever.
Oh, Rops has spotted them though, and if they commit, it will be a very dangerous road. Already 1 damage off that HE, so they avoid it. Woxic's now moved into B to watch upper, allowing Rops just to focus on that one position, but he might need some help because they're already funneling out. Rops is already dead. Woxic can't hit his shots of the AWP, and there's some crucial misses because guns have been picked up and the bomb's gone down. Snappy finds another. 3-on-4. Carrigan getting tagged. Woxic's got to save the day, and he's giving us his best shot. The issue is they're just so close, surrounding him on this bomb site. Config finds a couple of the AK-47, and it's the one-on-one. Chris J dropping with a nade. Config won't know he's behind him, but Chris J's missed the timing, finally hearing the footsteps, and will save the round. But, Harry, that was an eco. That should never have come so close.
Most certainly not. You know, a lot of the questions coming into this third map was, can Config keep the strong appearances up? It's certainly looking like it right now. He actually drops the AWP, I think, in this round. He spent 4,750, so yeah, it looks like it. Throws that over to MSL. So we do get to see that AWP duel between Woxic and the man at the helm of OpTic. Leon showing a presence down here towards Ivy. Not something we've really seen OpTic do to test the waters just yet. So flash through will hold MSL back for the time being. Frozen taking this aggressive stance in Connector alongside Chris J. Not quite. There we go. Try again. Knife out this time for MSL.
I love that so much. Just as a reference, if you're a CT here holding this angle and MSL lands, you've got to be pretty fast to react to that shot. And it's gonna definitely set your aim off when you see a player appear that quickly out of nowhere. But no one's watching it. Carrigan's holding from the back of the site. Frozen's watching the drop through pop. He's got it covered with 1. Carrigan, great timing on that re-peek there. Takes down Snappy and Nico. Sorry, that's MSL and Nico rather going down. One player does manage to cross. It's refresh, and they don't know it, but surely they have the idea that he could have, and with 5-on-2, enough players to cover pretty much every position that OpTic could abuse.
Still, it's Config and Refresh left standing. These two were phenomenal back on Dust. Make that now just Config, and this wrap from not from Carrigan, rather from Frozen. He's going to hear the footsteps of Config trying to get away. So Mousesports back in with a 5th. And it feels like we've only seen these big one-sided beginnings from these two teams, right? We saw the, I think it was 12-1 from OpTic back on Dust. And then, obviously, 9-1 for Mousesports over on Overpass. So we're in for maybe a bit of a repetition of that. No AWP in sight for MSL in this round. Instead, it is just AKs across the board. You're a bit limited in terms of utility. You pretty much got everything you could need. You know, just clacking Molotovs on everyone.
And look how scared OpTic are of this Heaven peak. They're just going to smoke OpTic off, not even giving the information. That's a really clever play, because even if you don't want to send players here and fight him, just OpTic, you know, being denied that position denies Mousesports the information. Because if you have OpTic up in those B halls, locking it down, and OpTic don't fight him, then you can pre-rotate another player towards that A site for Mousesports and have, you know, 4 on A to deal with the eventual execute. OpTic, the second he spots someone, he can go for a shot, drop off, and you already have a con rotate in time. So it's a really valuable piece of real estate for the CTs to hold, and OpTic will deny that early on.
Yeah, look at how worried OpTic are about this early aggression across the map, right? They've barely even left T-spawn as it stands right now. Beginning to line up some of these smokes. They drop one down at Ivy, one in connector, so they're going to try and hit this A-bomb site, and Frozen will get caught into that rotation in pop. It's Chris J to try and hold the line, barreling down. Config able to deal with him. AK now retrieved. 3 on 2, and OpTic and Rops, the two players that were over towards that B-bomb site, now tasked with trying to get back in towards A. They won't be able to deny the bomb plant. So plenty of time for OpTic to look to get set up in these post-plant positions. I was going to keep creeping forward. OpTic and Rops, they've both been good individually in these clutch scenarios before. They've got each other to fall back on. A little bit of utility on OpTic. Could look to try and force a peek from some of these players. Nothing coming through for Mousesports right now. Config peeking out. Traded by Rops, but the re-peek is immediate from MSL. So OpTic tuck themselves away and hold that 3v2 well.
That's a lovely setup in the post plant as well from OpTic, right? They have connector covered from Config. If, you know, with one player in the pop dog watching the flank, with one player towards E-box watching the con side, they know the only positions they have the CTs can come from is CT, and they're just not peeking it, they're not fighting it. You're not giving Mousesports a duel with that AWP to get back into the round, and the second that one gives away their position and Config gets a kill, it's just going to be trades from OpTic. So, yeah, very nice round. Chris J, he's now on the AWP, and he's getting aggressive with it. Fast down Ivy, just misses the timing on that unscoped, but right back in with a shot. Something we've been waiting to see. This double AWP for Mousesports is really coming into its own. It was only run for a couple of rounds on Overpass, but this is really a map for it. OpTic on that main AWP as well, down towards B, has got it covered alongside Rops, and they might need to do so because Conflict's peering towards Heaven.
Problem for OpTic is they're desperately trying to find someone somewhere for Mousesports overextended. You know, some means of getting back into this, and Mouse just aren't giving anything up. The nearest option they've got is Carrigan over here towards main. So I'm going to try and facilitate this peak with the flashbang. It rains over, does hit its mark, and it allows Nico to deal with Carrigan. So there's the point man gone, Frozen. At least able to dispatch a Config, and Chris J back towards Ivy, drops another. So MSL thrust into the clutch. It's not happening for him. Mousesports straight back with a response, and a 6th round locked in. Now it's kind of back to the drawing board for OpTic. No money. And you can refresh with a bit more, so you can look to invest some armor maybe on these players.
Yeah, OpTic are kind of getting caught into the rut that they had yesterday, where after they lose a player or two, they get stuck into these really awkward mid-rounds that they just don't ever seem to have a response for. Obviously, it's so difficult to win a 3-on-5 like that, but it seems to just be falling back into the same thing. Just set up the same flashbang, pop a player through main, try and win a duel, but it didn't work against North, and it certainly won't work against Mousesports. 6-2 and a tactical pause, pretty good time 4-1.
And I mean, you looked at that there, right? The amount of utility that OpTic lost just from losing those first 2 players really came back to punish them, right? You know, you didn't have the smokes for the site take. The only thing you had was that one flashbang on MSL that gets you in. They had a few Molotovs here and there that they could have looked to have done something with. But your big problem was Chris J down towards Ivy, right? You have no way of blocking him off. We so often see OpTic throw that smoke down to do exactly that, to nullify the Ivy AWP. And so without it, it was just a bit of a shooting gallery for Chris J. Now, an interesting thing to note, the Force Spy coming through here from OpTic into this round. Fast aggression from Rops does net the first kill. Will they anticipate OpTic running through that Molotov? They certainly don't, and he's even able to drop an Incendiary of his own down towards ramp. So OpTic, not only has he bought ample time now for Mousesports to try and figure out how they want to play around this, but he's also regained that man advantage that Rops was trying to pick up early on.
And now another one of those awkward mid rounds that we were talking about. Harry, what do OpTic do? It's looking like a bit of a B play for a second, but the smoke comes down and they start to spread now. It could still be their late round game plan, but they've got to keep their eye on the flank, knowing that Mousesports at any point could push. We've already seen that be shown, such as these T-Con flashes, the Ivy play that Chris J did in the previous round. And so, luckily for OpTic, Mousesports are playing passive, and as a result, only have one player towards this B site. But it will be a retake scenario unless Woxic can deny that bomb plant. It's going to be difficult. Refresh is creeping up close by the smoke, trying to go for a hero play, getting flashed through from his teammate. Both of them charging the connector. I love this call from OpTic. Will it work out, though?
Refresh being in such a forward position, even actually up past that Molotov he drops, and it wasn't spotted. They should have heard the drop, so the info should be there for Woxic. He's able to clear the close angle, but there's Snappy to immediately deal with him. Now thrust into this 3-on-3, and this is where Refresh is really going to come into his own. It's Carrigan asked to step up, asked to clutch once more, able to get the second. Will he be ready for Nico, who's also gone aggressive over towards Oil Trades? Time starting to work against Carrigan here. Does have this Incendiary, but he's likely just going to anticipate that the last man is playing on the ramp. Tries to flush Nico out, but yeah, the time's already too far gone. And OpTic Gaming will move on to their third. The aggression, the call coming through for Refresh and Snappy to take that aggressive holding connector pays dividends for OpTic there.
And what a call to make. I love it. That's not something you really ever want to do in like a 5-on-5 because it's so risky. Not only could Mousesports have two players committed to the bomb site, but also, running through a smoke like that and a rifle round is always just a bit of an air if there are players in con side holding it. But OpTic take the gamble. It's a 3-on-4 anyway. They're at a huge disadvantage. Mousesports are winning all these rounds, and then OpTic go, okay, let's throw a Hail Mary into that B site. And the thing is, Mousesports didn't even play that incorrectly. Woxic gave up B, as he should have, setting up for the retake, but getting caught throwing a flashbang, and it all kind of fell apart from then, Refresh being the hero of that round. And another pause for OpTic, clearly not happy about maybe the early game, which, of course, left them in that 3-on-4. In fact, it's really crippled Mousesports' economy here, as you can notice. Only one kit for Carrigan. No gun for him, though. Only a Deeg. And limitations ensue across the rest of the roster as well. At least we have this AWP for Woxic, and now one for MSL to fight back against him.
Once more, they head towards this B-bomb site early on. This is where we've seen them actually pick up the majority of these rounds, or at least bring them down to the wire. Some Woxic flying weight, and this time you can see the switch up. Frozen and Chris J. Aggressive in Pop Dog. They're going to be available for a very fast rotation here. Looks like it will be needed. Woxic, you really need him to open up with a kill. He does have a man playing close as well. That's Rops. They can try and go for this bait and switch. Woxic gets the attention. And once he fires that first shot and then drops off, that's where you're going to look to Rops to try and shut this down.
Oh, Rops in the smoke. Woxic's going to find one, but they're still coming through that heaven smoke, and he's got to be aware. Config already pushing the extremities of the site. The bomb does manage to drop, but Config almost catching Woxic out. 3-on-2 as the bomb goes down, and OpTic, they've got the AWP, they've got the molly for the post plant, but they don't have the B-Hall's control.
And this is where the push is coming through. That fast flank from Frozen, and Chris J looks to blindside OpTic. It's Refresh in a 1v3. Bomb planted for him. They do tap on it. Smoke going to follow up as he peeks on out. Oh, he does get frozen off, and now Refresh. A real chance here. It's only Woxic left standing. Just 15 points of health. Time ticking down. And yeah, there's no kit available. Carrigan was the man with it, but that's been dropped a long way from home. And that's OpTic once again asking someone to step up, asking for the clutch, and it's Refresh to get it done.
He's just such an effective player. You can put him in any position. It seems like he'll succeed. These opening entry kills to pull back man disadvantages, the clutch situations. What a round from Refresh. He really is being the saving grace for OpTic right here, keeping this game close. 4 rounds on the T side. This is a damn good start for OpTic, considering at one point this was, what, 6-1? Looked like it could have been another dominant map for Mousesports, but denied by these tactical pauses of OpTic that seem to be paying dividends. It's now Mousesports having to call one of their own as their economy is thrown into question. It was already pretty weak in the previous round, as shown by the lack of kits. It has now been made redundant. So eco round having to come through here for Mousesports, no doubt about it.
And I mean, you know, the good showing from both of these teams here in this map really kind of sets us up for an interesting question, right? Because we don't know where they stack up versus the solidified rosters. You know, that's one thing that's so interesting about this Group A, is there's just a lot of question marks, right? We don't know if this is the, you know, like a Mousesports team that could be top 10, top 5 in the world. We don't know if OpTic are really having a fantastic showing in a sense, right? Like,
in comparison.
Yeah, we don't have a solid benchmark to go off of, but regardless, the thing that's nice about this is they're both playing some damn good CS right now. And it sets us up nicely for the future. Now, Config over here towards B, going to start to aggress forward once again. This is where OpTic have found so much success, is at this B bomb site. Not going to spot anyone early on, and now just elect to give that up. They clear this portion of the map, and they're just sitting back, patiently waiting, hoping that Mousesports, knowing that the money's going to be low, they want to see if they try and get antsy, try and test the waters anywhere.
Well, you could see from the B Hall's control, they're trying to work out where this AWP is, flashing the angle but not peeking it, hoping that either WOXIC shoots or falls off. They know that this one AWP is the biggest threat that they've got to face. So being able to get round it would be a great call, and they've done that well so far. Flashes out through A. WOXIC, wrong side of the map, wrong place, wrong time. Needs to move and join his teammates, but they're all dead. 3 entries in a second from OpTic, and the bomb can go down. WOXIC, just a formality. He can look for exits, but he shouldn't try and commit to winning this one. His teammate going down on B, and now he knows he really is pinched. Stuck between a rock and a hard place and a 1-on-5. With Snappy coming in from the rafters as well, he can make all the noise he wants. He just needs the information. Where is WOXIC? There he goes. Missed shot will spell his disaster.
And as you highlighted just a few rounds ago, this was 6-1 at one point in time. OpTic doing a phenomenal job. In 5 rounds, that's already perfect for your T side, right? You can already look at this and feel like it's a bit of a win, and there's still rounds yet to be played. Now, the buy here from Mousesports does not inspire too much confidence. It's likely that we see them try and take some aggression elsewhere on the map due to the lackluster utility that they've got, and we can already see this double-man push in through Ivy from Carrigan and Chris J. Chris J going to be lining up the flashbang for Carrigan to look to peek off of. Rains in, but Refresh was playing the anti-flash. A second one from Chris J. Now that blindsides everyone here at Ivy and allows the double kill for Carrigan. Great bit of measured aggression there from Mousesports. They anticipate, the player close playing the anti-flash. And that set them up nicely. So the aggression's worked out. The first thing they had to check off this list has come through, but now they've lost the B bomb site. And that bomb on the back of MSL in rotation.
Oh no. If they climb up the ladder here, they could cut the bomb off. That's why Snappy's doubling back, and Frozen has found himself up top of these B halls. Does he expect the flank background? It's a yes, but Snappy still hits a shot. And Molotov going short in the smoke, and Chris still has the chance to cut this bomb off. It's actually just gone past. Snappy's still here in the halls. He's ready for Chris J. A nice attempt, and WOXIC actually will still make this round a reality for Mousesports in the 2-on-2. But look at how split OpTic are. We could see MSL go through the connector and take A, because that's exactly where Config sits.
Issue is, he still has angles to check, still has things to keep an eye on, and he's going to go for the plant inside of this B bomb site. WOXIC able to deny it, and Config now thrust into the 1v2. A few question marks in this round for how this 2-on-2 occurred, but Config, 15 seconds on the clock, still going to try and step up to the plate to go for the clutch. WOXIC hidden in that smoke, and Config can't have any idea. They hear him on the trade. So Mousesports in with a 7th.
You could see OpTic trying to read Mousesports there, but failing to do so. They had config in A, they thought they'd cleared it out, but you know, they didn't have the time to fully check everything, and config didn't want to give up the fact that he had this position by running around. So I think that's a good call from OpTic in terms of going for that bomb plant, but yeah, lack of information just left him in a very awkward spot. And great work from OpTic, of course, on that flank. He finds 3 in that round. 7-5. And Mousesports, they finally get another CT side round after a bit of an absence. Still no AWP for them, though. MSL is wielding his. This nade could be naughty, and it certainly is. That's some great damage early on for free. Still the quad A setup. That puts a lot of pressure on Rops, who has to watch 2 positions at once, but that's why we have this rotation. OpTic here just in the right time.
Oh. MSL actually dropping his teammate. OpTic and Rops rather making quick work of this B-side play, but it's Nico to step up and answer back with 1. Still has to retrieve this bomb. The wraparound tries to come in from Refresh, but Frozen's just going to check it in the nick of time. And Nico now has to 1v4. He's not ready for OpTic, who's already aggressed close. Mousesports back with an 8th round to their names. Smiles on the faces of Chris J and OpTic.
And you could just see every time that Refresh tries to go for this outer lurk in the B hits, he's always red. That Mousesports have not let him do that once. So I imagine we're going to see OpTic stop trying to do that. I mean, there's only 2 rounds left in the half, but yeah, these B plays have not been great off the back of spawn, or even just early B plays. These 5-on-5 B plays just haven't worked for OpTic full stop. So great work from Mousesports once again on the defense, and more utility damage just to make matters worse for OpTic.
See, I would read into it a bit of a different way. I would say it's really only the B plays that have been working for OpTic up until a point, right? And now it feels like MOUZ have kind of adjusted to that.
Yeah, it's not the fact that the early...
Ooh,
wow, okay.
Chris J's on a swivel.
It's not the fact that the B plays haven't worked, it's the early B plays. When we see OpTic go 5-on-5 into B, they don't typically win it. But when they're down a man or in a 3-on-3 and hit B, that seems to be where they find the success. Surprisingly enough, these converted rounds in like the 4 that they got in a row, a lot of them, Harry, were for man disadvantages. They were down in those rounds. They'd lost the early picks and they still recovered.
Double AWP over on MOUZ, but it's not in the usual suspects' hands of OpTic and Chris. Carrigan's picked one up, maybe based off of his Ivy spawn, and the fact that this is where we've seen him look to set up, and it also facilitates this 2-man holdover in Pop that we've seen Frozen and Chris J run time after time. And Carrigan is the man who's shown us that he can don this up. They try and double drop in through the ladder, and that's where the real utility of that 2-man hold from Chris and Frozen kind of shows its worth. Nico flashed out, trying to find something, but they've already given up Pop. They've fallen back and taken a more passive stance. They're going to hear the scope on Carrigan. There's a man up on top of the blue train. That's MSL, who just blindsides Carrigan there. Rop's able to come through on this flank quickly. But that somewhat relies on these players dropping a few of the guys inside of this bomb site. They do actually deal with the man in Pop, so now we could look for Rops to come in on this flank. And Nico certainly seems aware of this possibility. Does he drop him? He does. So it's OpTic in a 1v2. We need to see a hell of a lot here in the last round of this first half.
And if you're OpTic, you just look at the scoreboard and go, okay, it's OpTic, don't fight, don't peek, don't give it the 1v1, but MSL will go right around the corner, and that's where OpTic can trade out to an AK now, moving off of this slow-paced AWP creep. He can fly in now wide with the rifle. Issue is Nico's not giving him a fight, and OpTic's not got the right read. Molly towards the Pop Dog, tries to tap on the bomb, but the peek comes through preemptively. Nice work from Nico, saves that round of the 1v1, and the retake will not happen for Mousesports. That being said, good half for both teams. I think everyone's going to be happy with a 9-6 given the CT-sidedness of Train, and so it's anyone's game in this third map as we head into that second half. Join us after the break.
walk away, walk on, baby. Walk away, walk away, walk on, baby. Walk away, walk away, walk on, baby. Walk away, walk away, walk on, baby. Walk on, baby.
It's map 3, it's trade, and it's closer than ever. 9-6 in favour of Mousesports at the end of that first half. But now with OpTic moving into that CT side, the more favoured of the two, you feel like this game is still very much anyone's to take home.
Yeah, this is, as you say, the closest half we've had as well. 9-6, that's a weird one. These have been two very dominant games. And you were just saying to me during the break, Harry, and I got to agree, this feels like a game that certainly could go to OT. Very well-matched rosters as we head into this one. So map number 3, pistol rounds have been almost flawless for OpTic, and they're looking to keep that stat in their favor. Nice smoke from Chris J towards Connector, but right now, OpTic, they've got to deal with a B push. It's 4 players here. MSL, that's an early nade, might find some damage. It does. The pistol's out, but he's been dinked down. Woxic with the kill, gets traded, dropping into the site. Oh dear, refresh. 3 kills off the USP, and the bomb is in no man's land. What has happened here?
Carrigan's trying to duck through this smoking connector. Maybe that's a bit overzealous with Config waiting on the other side. And Chris J, I mean, what can he do? Nothing. OpTic Gaming a 7th round of refresh, the savior. 3 kills there. That last one, he had 2 bullets left, Hugo. Only 2, and he lands that first one up onto the man in heaven. It all falls apart, and he has been someone who's been stepping up throughout this series thus far over on the side of OpTic. Another man we have to give a shout out to is Nico here, right? Sitting top of the server alongside Chris J. 16-11.
It's crazy because Refresh has 9 kills, 3 of them from that round. So prior to that, he had 6 kills. 2 of them in that 1v2, and 2 of them in that 3v4, where he got 2 entries on the B site. So maybe not high in terms of stats, but in terms of impact, he has really been up there. So in this round, it's OpTic trying to deal with the force by Mousesports, and they're dealing with it effectively at best. 2 kills and lots of damage to Chris. Hoping for the Deagles to shine through, but close position from Config catches Carrigan and the bomb in tow. Great shot from Chris, but still, this round should be OpTic's every day of the week.
Wow, yeah, we know Chris J can be a menace with this scout. The issue is 11 points of health. Ooh, not going to be given too much room to play around with. Drops in a 1v3. If he can take one more man away, then this has been a good bite from Mouse for the most part. Smoke going to fall in pop, so they have to read as to where he is. A lot of that going to come on the back of this aggression from Snappy, who's cleared all the way through Ivy, now into T-Spawn. So they're narrowing down the places that ROPS can be. They've even got Refresh sat back in Connector just to be aware of this potential flanking through that B-bomb site. And yeah, they shut down ROPS, OpTic onto an 8th rather, and they should move on to a 9th and equalize things out here. Obviously, it was that investment from Mouse in the round prior. So this is where we see this game go 9-9 unless something goes very, very wrong.
Or very, very right for Mousesports, but yeah, if you win this round, maybe it's wrong. It's disallowed, Harry. They've got nothing. Flashbang, PT50, Deagle. That is the investment here for Mousesports. So just hoping to get a bomb on that B site, I imagine.
Yeah, that's the safe bet, right? You got a flash, you can use the pistols up close to try and deal with the point man inside of B. You know, so often you see teams set up with a player holding further back. Now this time OpTic, they actually aggress both players early on. Don't manage to find anything from it, but you can see that OpTic have config sat in connector for that fast rotation. So even if the players inside of the bomb site fall, you've got a third man to swoop in and try and save the day. He might not even be needed though, because already Refresh and MSL, they both made quick work of this B bomb site push. We get to see things go tied up 9-9. 5 players staying alive for OpTic is perfect. Money's now built up over on this CT side, and this sets us up for one hell of a second half.
Especially where in the first rifle round, we see the AWP come through. Are there 2 AWPs, or did I just misread that buy? No, there are 2 AWPs on the T side. That is crazy to see at 9-9. Big risk taken from Mousesports, but I'm all for it. These are the 2 top performers in the entire team as well. Chris J and OpTic both donning those. OpTic no armor, so a little more limited there. Chris J just holding the B upper peak. Config looking to flex once again back into main. Flashbang in, 2 players taking control here on the CT side. Frozen is going to hear that utility, so he stays aware. But smoked off means that Mousesports have to aggress elsewhere, and they will do up Ivy. In the meantime, OpTic have so much control. They have T-Con smoked off. They've taken Pop Dog. They've got a lot of information off the back of this, but they haven't got Ivy, and Karrigan's come out swinging with a shot. Snappy being taken down. Woxic gets one with the AWP through Ivy, and the one position that OpTic neglected to hold was the one position that Mousesports threw all their eggs into.
Yeah, to make an omelette, sometimes you've got to crack a few eggs, Hugo. Oh. Well. This is going to be a Mousesports round. Let's refresh the MSL. Yeah, I mean, they're just hunkering down inside of B, right? They don't have to commit to this. You've still got cash to invest. You hope that maybe someone from Mouse does something dumb here, but they're not going to.
No, just methodically clearing out the A site. Plant can come through for Chris, and of course they have Ivy and Pop, so great crossfire for that bomb. But I'm sure if you're Mousesports, you're already aware that it's very unlikely OpTic will be going for this one. MSL can't go down that ladder for fear of his own death, and very close. Karrigan escapes his own demise to Refresh, holding the stairs. I don't think OpTic are going to be given any exits today.
Yeah, and also, you know, one thing to note, with Chris J not picking up a kill in this round, I don't think that double AWP was spotted by OpTic. So they're not going to be aware that they're running into that in this following round. You know, you see Woxic pick up a kill with the AWP. That's expected, but the double AWP, not something you see every day. And MSL. He falls there at the end, and you know, that actually has a few ramifications here. Refresh still able to drop over, so the buy comes through regardless, but
not what you want to see.
No, right, definitely not, because MSL, he could have just thrown his M4 over to someone else, and then when he reinvests into the AWP here, you would have seen a full side of utility alongside it. You would have seen the kit as well. So, you know, it leaves him a bit more limited than perhaps you would have liked, but it's really only MSL who takes the hit here. You've still got 3 kits. You've still got full utility on everyone else. It's very much not the end of the round. It's just now for OpTic not being aware of this double AWP potential over on the side of Mousesports. I guess we're going to see if that's something that comes back to punish. The nice shot from MSL. Snappy's here to try and help out, but they both fall short. Karrigan surviving with just 1 point of health to his name. And OpTic, they're going to fall back, give up this B-bomb site. They hedge their bets and stack all 3 players up inside of A.
Sandwich smoke there from Chris J to try and fake out that A site as well. Try and keep OpTic guessing, who won't have a huge amount of numbers to fight this bomb site. Maximum of 2 right now as they keep Refresh alone on B. He tries to take an aggressive position to get some information, and he will be on top of the catwalk. Now Mousesports still trying to feign this A fake, but I think OpTic aren't convinced. They're fully gambling here, full rotation. It might be a bit too late, but they could be able to do it if Refresh can get this molly off. He does down wrap. They're already through. The bomb's been dropped, and Chris J finds one. Config getting taken down, and now it's just on Nico. Plenty of time for Mousesports to play this 2-on-1, but if you look at the HP, this is not favorable.
Especially with how Nico's looked on this map, right? He's been one of the stand-up performers for OpTic. Smoke holds him back for the time being, but as you pointed out, 2 shots is all it takes for him to end this round and secure the 10th for OpTic, snatching this 2-on-1. What was it? 3-on-1 away from Mousesports. Up on top of the rafters. He spots Rops, but Rops is going to land the shot needed. 11th round for Mouse. They're able to salvage that.
But they don't salvage either of the AWPs. Not the end of the world. They've got the money, but would have liked to keep them, considering they bought 2 up. Luckily for Mousesports, OpTic actually have no cash here. The 2 rounds in a row from this T side has crippled the economy of OpTic. And a valiant attempt at that gamble stack towards B, but literally 3 or 4 seconds earlier, and they win that round. So, unfortunate timing. Config again aggressive, this time no flash to assist him, and the Shadow will give away his position, but the first player in contact was Frozen, and he had a nade out. Luckily Carragher bails him out, and Frozen catches a player on top of the train. There's 3 more of those, as OpTic look to take gunfights on this A site. Not too successful, 1 kill, no more.
And this is where OpTic do have to start being careful, right? They tied things up 9-9. They salvage a very good T side after securing 6 rounds down from being, like 6-1 at one point in time in favor of Mousesports. So they salvage a good half, but it doesn't mean much if you just get annihilated on your CT side. We do need to see them start to pick something up sooner rather than later, because the money starts to become a problem here. And with Mousesports just being allowed to play this disrespect style of CS, you know, easing back into it, that's certainly not what you want. Carrigan fast out from main. Does miss Nico as he's fully flashed, but Chris J's there to help him out. This fast A play from Mousesports, very telegraphed. OpTic know what's going on, but we have to see some kills come through, and they're just not finding these shots needed right now.
Yeah, Config, he almost catches a man on top of the train, but the wallbang slows him down for the peak. Snappy pushing through the smoke. There's actually no smoke there. Ivy wasn't covered by anyone on Mousesports. He gets a kill, but Chris J and Woxic shut it down before it gets dangerous. That is a bit of a worryingly fast round, as Mousesports just bring the heat to the A site, 13-9. It's still unreal to think about how OpTic have won 5 out of 6 of the pistol rounds in this series and still may lose it. It took them 6 out of 6 yesterday to actually win the series, and they only won it by the skin of their teeth. So this is, I guess, the flip side on what will usually happen.
And yeah, I mean, I'm curious on hearing the desk's thought on exactly that, right? How a team can be so good in these pistol rounds, but it seems to be the rifle rounds where they get betrayed, right? You imagine it's because pistol rounds can be a bit more individualistic, right? You can just rely on those aim duels coming through. You don't have to set each other up quite as much because the utility is that much more restricted on either side. But, you know, I'm curious to hear what they make of it. It's going to be this stack inside of the B bomb site from OpTic. 4 players here, and that's largely on the back of Config in this aggressive main position. He's tried this 3 times in a row, and it led to his death in the last 2. This time around, he's gotten away with it, and that nets a lot of info for OpTic. It's going to be a 4-on-4 inside of this B bomb site, and Config now hearing these rotations, they can feel assured in the fact that it is this B plate. They might have 4 bodies here, but once again, you just need to see some kills come through, and they're not going to. It's only the pistols, so you know, you're not expecting too much. Carrigan with a nice triple on the entry, and this does leave the flank of Config to try and find something. And he might just be content with that Krieg.
Nah, not a 13-9. Give it a go. Try and break some money. They got to buy in the follow-up anyway, and that kill, tempting as ever. He's still got Kevlar as well. Grabs the AK, flash out of the upper. Coming back down to the ramp, or saving though? Ramp, he's going to go for this. Config going hard or home, and tagged up, finished off. Frozen finds a kill from the con. Carrigan saves the AWP, and it's 3 kills for the in-game leader of Mousesports.
Yeah, the issue with going hard or going home is there is always the option of going home.
Yes.
is very much still available.
Well, 14-9, and little room left for OpTic to work with. They had a great job of, you know, getting 6 rounds T-side, getting those 3 off the back of the pistol, and winning the forced by an anti-eco to 9-9. We thought this could be a close game, Harry, but they've not won anything since. Not a single rifle round on the CT side. Mousesports have looked fantastic. York back out. MSL with his own as well. No double AWP for Mousesports though.
Ooh. Snappy knows he's very lucky to be alive there. Pulls back into CT, and now MSL homing his sights in. Zeroing in on this position down in Ivy right now. Smoke down a block off Snappy, so you do fully rely on MSL landing these shots, and he's able to dispatch of OpTic, the first man in. Now Snappy emerging from CT. And this has been a good crossfire setup down in Ivy just to completely negate this attempted aggression from Mousesports. They've got to go back to the drawing board. 3v5 with 55 seconds left on the clock. 2 smokes, 2 Molotovs, and a couple of flashbangs spread thinly. That's all they've got to work with. So it's looking like it might just culminate in the B play, and Rops actually gets caught dropping into PopDog. So, ooh, nice shot from Chris J. Even goes as far as to find some damage on a refresh here. They do get this B bomb site, but both players bought within inches of their life. This feels almost impossible for Mouse, but can Chris J and Frozen get the job done?
These are the rounds that OpTic were able to win in very disadvantageous positions, but you're asking for so much. 17 and 22 HP on these 2 players, but Chris finds another kill. Harry, this was a 2-on-5, and it's about to be a potential victory for Mousesports if they can just hold their nerve. Chris J caught, Snappy takes him down, and that will be the retake for OpTic. They find 10 rounds after all, but by the skin of their teeth, seconds in between Mousesports and a 15th.
And that's the problem with being so low on HP, right? You kind of are forced into a situation where you have to take those fights almost, right? If you just sit back and play the 2v3 passively there, all it takes is, you know, 1 nade to raid in and you both die. 1 Molotov could have been enough. You know, you pre-fire everything at that point in time if you're OpTic.
If you're holding an angle and you're on 20 HP and someone peeks you, they are going to win that duel the majority of the time, right? So you do have to definitely like command gunfights and force engagements. And they did a great job to get into a, you know, from a 2-on-5 to a 2-on-2. That's really nice, and a bomb plant off the back of it as well. So they make something of that round, but too little too late, Harry. And OpTic are now still in this one, with them finding double digits.
Yeah, and critically, you know, you deny map point in the way of Mowers here, and that's something that really is worth its weight in gold, right? You're suddenly not in this situation where one little mistake, one little big performance over on the side of Mowers isn't enough to throw it all away. Yeah, we've seen countless times teams have these comebacks at a 14, you know, X scoreline and pull it back and take it. So it's definitely not impossible here for OpTic. The buyback on the cards from Mousesports, this time only rocking the 1-AWP on Woxic. Run boost him across.
Hey.
Good night, MSL. Was not ready for that. The MSL run booster that we saw him employ a bunch in that first half used against him. Oh. Frozen going to follow up on a Snappy at that. So Mousesports suddenly back with a very convincing start to this round, but it's Config who might throw that all into question, dancing around this smoke. Oh, he who dances with smokes, it's Config to find himself another. That's the bomb dropped as well as he deals with Carrigan. 3-on-3, there's just players all across the map, so sporadic, and Chris J falls to Nico. OpTic have pulled this one back into a doable situation. Config with just 22 points of health over here in main, trying to keep tabs on this bomb. But that is a big ask.
Refresh, he's coming from the B site as well. The rotate down, the PopDog could be so well timed. Rops is pivoting between the 2, but it's all about timing here. Config's now giving up the position. Refresh goes for the fight, and Rops is going to get caught in the open, leaving just Woxic. And he has a Molotov, and Config is so deep in main that Woxic could molly off the right side and grab the bomb. But if Refresh can fast flank Ivy, that could be potentially something to catch him off guard. Smoke towards the PopDog. The full flank round from Refresh through the T-spawn. That molly keeps these 2 CTs back. It allows Woxic to grab the bomb, but instead he'll go further. Hungry for the kills, maybe. No, he just couldn't find the bomb's position, and now he's got to be scared. 15 seconds, they'll move back in. He finds one, unaware that Refresh has gone for the full wrap round. He's got to stick the plant, but Refresh, he's read him like a book. 6 seconds, 5. Bomb plant might come in here. Refresh can see his legs, and he'll take him down under the train. 11 rounds to OpTic, just about.
Yeah, valiant effort from Woxic, but it's all in vain. An 11th round for OpTic, and even I was saying this one at overtime very much on the cards. And you know, while it was looking like that might not have been the case at one point in time, it certainly feels like it's still doable now. Last buy in the tank for Mousesports. They don't have another one of these to fall back on. So OpTic, if they manage to pick this up, they are more than back in this game because it effectively becomes a 2-for-1. Whew. Once again, OpTic able to dispatch the man down in Ivy. So man advantage secured for Mousesports, but we've seen, will history repeat itself? OpTic have been so good at pulling these back.
OpTic ran through a full Molotov from 100 to 15 to get that cross, and he still gets the kill. Worth it, but boy, was that a dangerous fight. And now OpTic, they're scared of Ivy. They've had to pre-rotate a man off B just to cover that back position in CT, and it's divvied between the two. Nico and MSL both covering it. The boost up, this could catch out Nico here. Oh, he looked like he wanted to peek wide, but as he moves further along the brown train, that's going to make him susceptible to going down to this AWP of OpTic. Luckily enough, staying in the corner. This is a fantastic off angle to catch people off guard. Who the hell is going to check this? Full flash, Frozen gets the kill, and Rops can follow up as well. That's the Ivy play dead. Mousesports all over this A-bomb site.
And this is where, you know, these few close 1vx's that we've had to see the OpTic guys pull back with only too few players surviving, that money that they once had has all been eroded down. And so the save call has to come in here for OpTic because these rifles are really going to be all they have to fall back on against map and series point. They need to win 4 in a row, starting with this 4-spy in the following round. It's a valiant effort to get them to this point in time, but it would be a shame if it's all for nothing. Their hopes and dreams rely on these 2 rifles carried forward.
And no exits today. Money is a necessity for OpTic. They can't afford to chase. With enough for refresh to drop over and MSL to give a FAMAS maybe, OpTic can put together a somewhat of a buy. It won't be fantastic though. 4 rounds. Certainly doable, but not going to be easy. Mousesports starting to find their groove now on this T side as we hit the rifle round. 5 in a row before OpTic even found their first. OpTic's back on the AWP as well. He's on 23 kills, Harry.
And Chris J's on 24,
yeah,
and they're the 2 names that we were really hoping to be deadly here on trade. Alex even said, you know, he thought this is where we'd see that double AWP turn back up, but it feels like, you know, maybe he hit the nail on the head. Not even actually something we really had to see Mousesports bring out all too much, but whenever they had it, has had pretty good results.
I mean, it was the kickstart, the double AWP that got them on this T side initially with him and Chris donning that in the first rifle round. And it may close it out as well. Harry walks in with the opening kill, and within seconds, Mousesports are deep in the A site. Great reactionary play. OpTic trying to come through the smoke. Him and Nico doubling down for 1 each, and Rops will follow up with a couple of his own. This is left refresh again in a clutch, but this man can do it all. Surely this one's not going to be one of them, though.
Well, he's hidden in that smoke right now. The issue he's going to have is no one from Mouse has to overextend, has to peek into this. And they won't. Carrigan actually takes that initial fight. Mousesports 16 at 2-11. They take this 3rd map. They're going to take that series 2-1, and they continue undefeated 2-0. Topping the group right now is this new Mousesports.